Hello there. Olatunji Sobodu is my name. Emet Leadership Academy, CEO and founder. And at Emet Leadership Academy, we nurture leaders based on the word of truth. Let me also say that we focus on leadership and personal development. And in this short course, if you like, I want to take you through 7 ways in which the hidden secrets in parables will profit your life. 7 ways in which the hidden secrets in parables will profit your life. Okay, and we associate parables with Jesus, with the Master. He had a profound life. He had a profound walk on the earth. He walked in dominion. He taught and solved problems. Healed. He was a source of solution. We're told that he grew in wisdom, in stature, and he had favor with God and with man. But this man had at the cornerstone of his teaching what he called parables. The parables are simple stories that he told that people could relate to, that will make them understand better the principles, the core principles of life. He told 38 of them. We are told that he never taught without using these parables. They were so instrumental to his life. And guess what? He is not known to be a hypocrite. He was always challenging the other teachers, the Pharisees, that you guys are hypocrites. Hypocrites means you don't live up to what you say. You don't run your life. You don't obey the same principles that you teach. He was not, meaning that the parables he taught were the same principles that he lived his life by. And if you want to know the secrets of a man, you pay attention not to the story about the man, but to the stories that the man tells. All right? And so those were stories that he told. And he was deliberate. He never said what he did not mean. And he never meant what he did not say. All right? He was that deliberate. He was the one that said, by the words you speak, you would be justified. By the same words, you would be condemned. So how could he possibly have spoken contrary words? So he used parables specifically. And we must bear in mind that he spoke them primarily for the benefit of those who were his followers, his disciples. And these were people that he was nurturing so that they could imitate him. They could operate at the level of life, of dominion, of results as he operated. Okay, that means that those parables contained what they need, that those parables, would empower them if they paid attention to it, and good enough, his people knew they were important, and they never made the mistake of allowing a parable to go by without them seeking understanding. So it meant that many times they would ask him, does that refer to us? What exactly are you conveying with the parables? Okay, so these parables were the cornerstone of his mandate, of his work. If there was anything that we saw, these parables played a significant role. All right. At the early stages of his work, when he was preparing, to begin his assignment, he used to go and sit down with the doctors of the law, with people who understood the law so that he could learn. All right. And he will be asking questions. He will be answering questions. He will be listening fervently They would ask him questions, he would respond. He did all of that. And we were told that he grew in wisdom, in stature, and in favor with God and with man. That's not a place that you and I cannot get to. That's a place that he wants us to get to. That's the reason he spoke the parables, and the parables contain what we need to get us into that place. If only we will take time to study that, to unveil the secrets, to unlock them for our benefit, and to unleash them in our day-to-day living so that we can change our story, we can get great results, and we can live a life of distinction by the kind of impact that we are able to make. All right, let me say a few things about the man so that we put these parables and the value that they bring to the table in context. He said he came to give life and to give it more abundantly. If the parables mean anything, then they are source of true life. I came to give life means that you ought to have a life experience that is fulfilling. All right. One of the problems is that many desire greatness. They interpret greatness to mean making a lot of money, being rich, being wealthy. Perhaps there is nothing wrong with that. But those often do not guarantee what I regard as the greatest achievement of a man, which is fulfillment in life. We have the story of the rich young ruler who ran to Jesus, the same Jesus, and he was already accomplished. He was rich. He said, what should I do to gain eternal life? This same life. What was his problem? He had all the money, but he didn't have fulfillment. He wasn't sure of where he would end up tomorrow. What an irony. And he was told what he needed to do. Unfortunately, he couldn't do it. All right, so he came to give life. So if he came to give life, then whatever he's teaching must contain the empowerment to provide that life. All right, he went about his father's business. What was his father's business? We were told when he said that he was busy learning. That's what he was doing. He was learning about his father. So if you and I settle down with these parables, what do you think we'll be doing? We'll be about our father's business. The father's business is empowering yourself to live up to your calling. All right, that was what he was doing, and he did it prior to starting, getting, into what he was called to do. All right, it's never too late to do the right thing. So you are still good. Okay, wherever you are still good. You are still good. Now, he always knew what to do. In John chapter 6, he said he himself, in the face of a challenge, we were told, he was asking questions, but we were told that he himself knew what he would do. He knew. He always knew what to do. This is the man who was committed and who never joked with parables. All right. His life was anchored to certain core principles of life, and they empowered him to be in control and to exercise dominion. All right. In any situation, he himself knew what he would do. You want to be in that position, you need to focus on the same things that he did. You need to examine his stories. You need to spend time in his parables. All right, because the secret to knowing what to do is in those parables, At a point, his mom told people in the face of a challenge, when wine ran out at a wedding and he was there, and his mom told him, they have run out of wine. I know you have the solution. You always have the solution. Okay, the same man who told parables always had the solution. And he told the people, he said, pay attention to this man. Whatever he tells you to do, do it. So you want to operate at that frequency, why not listen to his parables? That's the person who used parables, all right, to run his life, who anchored his life and what a mandate he had. Yet, he anchored that to the parables that he told. He lived by the same standards that he set for you and I, much more. Through those parables, he empowered us to be able to do the same. He revealed the secrets of how he could live this kind of life. So it's up to us to discover it. He told the Pharisees at a point, this same hypocrites, he often called them, you guys, you're hypocrites. He said, you fall into error because you don't know the scriptures and you don't know, therefore, the power of God. You don't know the scriptures. What are the scriptures? A good part of them, as far as his work is concerned, are the parables. So you are not paying attention to the things I'm saying. So you don't understand the principles of life. And because you don't understand, you make mistakes and you have no power. So you can't impact the people. You can't influence the people. You can't add value to the people. You have no power to solve their problems. Instead, you are burdening them when you as leaders and teachers ought to be instruments for solving their problems. Again, funny. What an irony. What an irony. So you see that if you pay attention to the parables and you really, dive into that, you will access his wisdom. You will avoid the same errors of hypocrisy, the same errors that those so-called teachers were falling into. And importantly, you will command power. The ability to get work done, the ability to accomplish your goals and your objectives. And we said it, he never taught without those parables. And he often said to his people, when he spoke a parable, at times they don't understand it. In particular, in one case, he said, you mean you don't understand this parable? He said, if you don't understand this parable, how would you understand others? Now, that said something very instructive to me. First is that some parables must be understood before you try and understand others. The second is that there are some parables that you understand better only if you understand, some other parables. All right. Some parables thrive on other parables. It's like saying some principles work on the basis of some other foundational principles. So there's a relationship between the parables. That tells you that in order for you to take advantage of these gems or these secrets, all right, it requires more than a casual approach. You can't be casual towards that if you want to make the most of what they contain. That's why, for example, a program like the Profit from Parables is very crucial, because these are all the things we'll be observing. These are things we'll be observing. And it says also, and this one comes even from Joshua 1 and verse 8. He says, don't let this book of the law, that's the word that comes from God, don't let it depart from your mouth. You should meditate on it day and night and observe to do all that is in it, so that you will make your way prosperous and you would have good success. That book of the law is the word coming from the mouth of God. Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Parables are the words that came from the mouth of Jesus. They are the book of the law, as it were, They are the words that we ought to live by. He said, man shall not live by bread alone. Bread is important. Physical bread is important, but much more important is the word that proceeds out of the mouth of the Lord. Parables proceed out of the mouth of the master, not out of the mouth of any other person. There are 38 of them deliberately spoken for the benefit of man, of you and I, for you and I to live by them. So are we doing that? Meaning that many of the things that we need, we will secure, if not all, just by immersing ourselves in the study of parables, in the study of parables. And Jesus says, anyone who thirsts, let him come to me. Let him come and drink. Let him come and drink. All right, so he has spoken the parables, and they are very profound. To ignore them is to do yourself a disfavor. It's to do myself a huge disfavor. And we probably have done that till date. Except perhaps if you have had a program like this that is focused on review, on studying the parables, bringing out the gems, discussing the application to life situations, showing you how to apply them in your specific situations how to run your life by that, and therefore ushering you into a new realm of life and a new season where the outcomes that you see will be different, will be more like the outcomes that he intended. 7 ways in which the hidden secrets in parables will profit your life, will profit your life. And I can say that to you very quickly. They will profit your business. Whatever business you may be into, they will profit your career. If you're still a career person, and every career person at some point tend to, transit into business, they will profit you in the area of your finances. How to manage your finances. They will profit you in the area of your investments, how to manage your investments. They will profit you in the area of your relationships, and your relationships are crucial. Your relationships are very crucial. They go a long way to determine the outcomes of your life. That's true. They will profit you in the area of your leadership. And many of us have leadership roles that we play. They will profit you in the area of your in the area of your character. I've mentioned relationship, your character. If you will pay attention to this, you are set for a strengthening of your character. They will profit you in the area of your stamina and your spirit man. So your attitude to life, your readiness to embrace life and its challenges will change because of the insights that you have gained and the wisdom that you have empowered yourself with by an expert guided study of the parables, which is what the Profit from Parables Bootcamp is about. For 9 months, 2 hours every week, we will deep dive into every parable and unlock the applications along these 7 areas: your business, your career, your finances and investment, your relationships, your leadership, your character, and your spirit. And these represent the greatest set of needs that any man has. They represent the greatest set of needs that any man has. Whatever your need is traceable, all right, to any of these 7 bucket areas. So the comprehensive study of the parables will give you a comprehensive set of core principles that will help you in every one of these areas. And it's not that you would come and you are focusing on career or you are focusing on relationships. No, you have everything. It's a total package. It's a total package because it's a comprehensive study that all the 38 parables we will bring them, we will separate them, all right, and ensure that we dig out everything that we need to know with special emphasis on how, not just how they apply to our lives, but how we can take advantage of them, how we can apply them. The execution, action part is very crucial, and we put, a lot of priority in that in this program. So you have those as the 7 vital areas where these parables will help you. And you can look at a few of them. Take, for example, the parable of the sower. A man went out to sow, all right? And a number of things happened, all right? At some points, the seed failed. In some other grounds, he got a harvest. That parable would teach you in the area of business. It will teach you in the area of how to handle your finances and your investments. It will teach you lessons in your career. It will give you vital principles of leadership. I use it to teach leadership a great deal. So you can see, for example, just one parable. Just one parable. If you look at the parable of the tares, perhaps you remember the parable of the tares. It said, while men slept, an enemy came and he sowed tares, all right, into their farm. And they woke up and said, wait a minute, what's going on here? We didn't plant, we planted something else. Why is something else growing? An enemy has done this. That parable will teach you some vital lessons about life, about your business, about your relationships, about your investments. It will teach you something about character as well. It may not be obvious to you, but when you join that program, you would see. I'm just giving you a sense of, to see how versatile and how loaded, all right, individual parables are. And these are just a sample of them, but our study will be comprehensive. We're not just selecting a few, no. We're walking through the 38 parables. It's a wholesome treatment. It's a wholesome adventure so that we can maximize what, they contain. There's the parable of the talents. Some call it the parable of the miners. Now, those parables, a master who was traveling, and he gave talent to his servants. Do business with this till I come. And some came back with results, others came back with nothing. That teaches you in the areas of relationship, in the areas of business, in the areas of career. If you want to get promoted, if you want to advance in your career, what are the things you need to pay attention to? In the areas of your investments. He said, occupy, do business with this, invest this, find a way, all right, to make something, profit out of this in the area of your relationships. And of course, there are character issues. There are serious character issues there. If you look at the parable of the virgins, all right, People they're waiting for the bride. 10 of them. Some held, everyone had lamps. All right. And some had oil, some didn't have oil. And then the bride was late in coming. And some ran out of oil and others. Now, very simple stuff, easy to follow the story. But the depth of revelation, the depth of principles, the depth of nuggets to use to navigate and to succeed in life is amazing. So again, you see there, relationships, career, business, you see preparation issues there, character, they are all there. You may never have thought about them in this regard. I mean, so you imagine, we've only just looked at 4, and there are 38 of them. The parable of the lost sheep. All right, the shepherd lost one sheep, left the 99, ran after the single one. Relationship, business, leadership. I hope you're following. So these are the things that you can see why these parables are so powerful, why the principles they contain are so empowering. Because you are led into certain vital insights. And these are things that we face day to day, but we even face them and we don't know that, the principles are there to address the challenges and to overcome them. And you have the parable of the Good Samaritan. That's probably something that you know. All right, again, you see relationship there. Vital lessons about life. Okay, there's the parable of the mustard seed. A very small seed, it's the smallest seed, but when it's planted, produce a massive tree, the birds come to hide under it. Such loaded stuff in there. You have the parable of the wicked servant who was owing his master. And the master says, pay up. And he couldn't, he didn't have the resources, and he begged and he was forgiven. But he then turned around and held junior servants who were owing him much less. And he put them in prison because they could not pay. He ignored their entreaties, their pleas, the same pleas that he made that was accepted. Now, others were making it, but he didn't accept. Again, you need to really drill down into that parable. You'll be amazed at the lessons that you take away and the principles of life and how you would find application even in your own experience. It's not unusual that when you go through this kind of in-depth, strategic, focused adventure, you may feel bad about yourself, because you remember situations in your life and how you could have dealt with that. Had you been in greater command of some of the principles that we're talking about, which is one of the reasons why this is so important. Why this is so important. And of course, you have, the parable of the prodigal son. I mean, someone who was under his father, who was being trained, and suddenly woke up one day and says, wait a minute, I think it's time for me to go and do my own thing. I think I'm ripe enough. So why not give me my share of, whatever is due to me, and let me go, find something to do for myself. I can make, perhaps you are too slow, perhaps the opportunities are there, we're not taking advantage of it, you are too cautious. I know what to do. All right. And he went out, and he messed up himself. Thankfully, he came back. So again, there are issues. There are lessons of life. There are lessons of leadership. There are lessons for your business. There are vital career lessons there. And there are deep character lessons as well. So you can see, I've just used this collection to try and throw light so that you see how that in these 7 ways, 7 impact areas, your life can profit from undertaking this adventure into parables. Your life can profit from undertaking this adventure into parables. Let me share with you some of the notes that I made. And these are some of the things that you should bear in mind. And I'm hoping that you would take the decision to join that program. But even if you didn't, bear this in mind. First, let me add this, that, the parables help you to build your life on at least 7 vital pillars. 1 is truth. And so you see how everything in life works. And you see, he said, you will know the truth, and the truth will give you freedom. So parables help you to build your life on truth, the pillar of truth. Of wisdom, that's number 2. So you see how to handle situations. How to handle situations. Wisdom is a defense. Wisdom is empowering. And you know what, Solomon said? He said, get wisdom is the principal thing. 3, ability, or if you like, capacity. Some might call it grace or skill. These parables help you to build your life on that pillar as well. The capacity for action. So that it's not just that you know it, but you know how to implement it. And you have all the motivation to go ahead and do it. In fact, you have the strength to do it. Because wisdom has a way of strengthening you. Wisdom is better than strength. Doesn't mean strength is not important. It means that wisdom contains strength or supplies strength. And the strength that wisdom supplies is more powerful than the physical strength that you tend to go after. Number 4 is favor. We talked about Jesus having favor with God and with man. What is favor? Just things generally tend to fall in place for you. All right. Men are disposed naturally to cooperating with you, to making things happen for you. When you spend time with these parables, is one of the pillars that you will build your life on. Number 6 is confidence or faith or conviction, if you like. Why? Because it is impossible for you to walk through 38 parables in detail and not develop the confidence to approach life based on them. Having known that these are the core principles and they work and they have no respect for anybody. Anyone who will operate them will enjoy their promises. Faith comes by hearing and hearing and hearing. Faith comes through understanding. And that's what we're pursuing in the program. If you stay with these parables, with the attitude that we've talked about, it's impossible not to come through your life established firmly on the faith in these parables, coupled with the fact that they were spoken. You know who spoke them, and you know that that person lived by them, and you know what that person accomplished by living according to those same principles. Number 6, character. You've always wanted to experience behavioral change. You will experience behavioral change. So the parables help you to build your life on the pillar of character. Your personalities that gets things done. That's character. Character determines, how you get things done and get it done successfully. And number 7 is distinction. There's no way to go through this program and not, because it's going to change your approach to life. All right. It's going to give, your approach color. It's going to separate you from the pack. All right. Both in terms of approach and by implication in terms of the results you get. So the parables help you to build your life on the pillar of character. Those 7 pillars, very important. Truth, wisdom, capacity or ability or grace, if you like, favor, that's number 4, faith or confidence or conviction, character, number 6, and distinction, number 7. Let me add 1 or 2 things, okay? Some of your most important personal needs, they're fulfilled just by you embarking on this adventure. You make one move, which is to get on this adventure. Give yourself a treat this year, purposeful, empowering treat. And let me tell you some of the needs that you would meet. I talked about the pillars upon which you build your life. Let me speak to the needs that will be met when you do this. 1 is influence. All of us want influence. Man wants influence. God wants us to be influential. To have dominion is being influential. All right. So you have influence with people, command, respect, honor. You are relevant. That's number 1. It's a need that will be met. All right. 2 is impact. You want to have an impact on the lives of people. You want to affect the lives of people for good, to add value to lives, to contribute, to be a shepherd to the sheep. You will get that from your study of parables. Number 3 is power. He said, and the people who know their God, they shall be strong or powerful, and they will do exploits. Power. You'll be empowered. Those principles are empowering. They separate you from others. Jesus knew what to do when others were busy saying different things. Always knew what to do. Was never stranded. They give you success. All right, so you are empowered to become successful. Remember, he said, if you pay attention to these parables, the book of the law, the word from the mouth of God himself, and in this case from his son, he said, you meditate on it, you observe to do, play your part, execute the things that he says. He said, you will make your way prosperous, and you will have good success, good success. All right, so I mentioned that that's number 4, prosperity. You've just seen that from what I have said. And then fulfillment. I told you about the problems with the rich ruler. You won't face that, if you're focused on the parables, because you understand what is important. It resets your priorities and it gives you what it takes to access that fulfillment that the guy was looking for, but he couldn't get. All right. The same principles that Jesus was trying to teach him, we're going to cover them here. So it's up to you. If you implement them, the fulfillment you will get, the life that he wanted, you would get. And finally, freedom. That we said it, you will know the truth and the truth will make you free. So if you have built your life, if it helps you to build your life, on the pillar of truth, then of course it means it positions you to meet the need for freedom. And everyone has a need for freedom. No one wants to be incarcerated. No one wants to be restricted. No one wants to be limited. We want to be able to do things, as and how we like. Okay, so those are 7 of your most important needs that are fulfilled by focusing on these parables: influence, impact, power, success, prosperity, fulfillment, and freedom. Fulfillment and freedom. Okay? And I say that the parables, therefore, they're the smart shortcut to all of those things. The smart shortcut to all of those things. You access the wisdom to command influence. You implement action based on the parables that delivers impact. All right? Your approach based on insights from your parables makes you successful. Persistence and consistency, all right, breeds prosperity. And those are things you derive from the parables as well. And those accomplishments will give you fulfillment. So 7 ways I have talked about, but I've added pillars as well. And I've added, how the parables help you to meet your needs. So you have a more robust picture, and hopefully, a greater reason to be a part of this wonderful, unique, once in a lifetime adventure into the parables. All right, to unveil, to unlock, and to unleash the gems that are hidden in them for our change of story, And that's what it is. Profit from Parables Bootcamp. 9 months, but just 2 hours a week. And we'll study a parable, each of the 38 parables. That 9 months is a total of 39 weeks. All right. It doesn't take more than 2 hours per week, and it's 2 hours well spent, 2 hours of rare empowerment, 2 hours, that is purposeful, 2 hours that will be to you, all right, hard to forget the remaining days of your life. So make the move, join us, and secure your place. It doesn't take a long time for 9 months to pass. But by the time you are done, a new you will emerge. By the time you are done, a more powerful you will emerge. By the time you are done, a you that is set for uncommon success, all right, will emerge. By the time you are done, a you that with greater confidence, all right, to forge ahead in life will emerge. My name is Olatunji Sobodu, and I would be your uncle, walking you through those 38 adventures and getting you to understand, and to see a new and better life therein. It promises to be exciting. I am excited about it, and I hope you'll find the time to join me. A worthwhile investment. You can't compare anything to it, by the way. Anyway, I know that you know what is good. You are a man and a woman of wisdom, and you will do the needful. I'll see you on the other side, and I hope that this has motivated you either to do your own study, to focus like you've never been before on the parables. And if you are convinced, you would like to join me at the boot camp, and let's walk through all of these things together. Thank you very much for listening. God bless you. Bye-bye.